Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network.
Today we're spending some time at City Hall. It's our regular feature in conversation with Nanaimo Mayor John Ruttan. On today's show, arts groups turn to crowdfunding to make ends meet, getting to know your Nanaimo Clippers, and a road trip on the trestle on a pedicab near Kelowna. That and more in the next 30 minutes. You are watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. It seems like a long time since we've checked in with Nanaimo Mayor John Ruttan. That's what we're doing today on Go Island. We're going to talk about Caledonia Park, a safety mitigation plan for the Colliery Dams, as well as an award. There's reason to celebrate in Nanaimo. We're going to tell you all about that later on this edition of Go Island. But first, when funding for various arts group just isn't there, creativity goes beyond the stage. A local theater group has taken to crowdfunding to make ends meet. Here's Derek Johnstone. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We are in conversation with Nanaimo Mayor John Ruttan following a City Council meeting on Monday, September the 9th. First one in what seems like quite some time. And one of the items on the agenda was the condition, the state, and the future of Caledonia Park, home to the Vancouver Island Raiders. No longer usable. In a nutshell?
Well, yes, I suppose technically it is usable, but I think it does need some work on it. But this is going to take time. This is not an overnight fix. Really, it's the old adage again about how much money will it take and how long will it take to do. Is this a great opportunity to have a private-public partnership? Possibly the commercial users may see an opportunity to invest in this as well, and the taxpayers, citizens of Nanaimo, will obviously contribute the bulk of it. But it's something that the Parks and Recreation group are now looking at, and we expect to have a very comprehensive report back in the very near future.
Now, the season, as I understand it, is just getting underway. Is that correct? Yes. So I would imagine there might be some sense of urgency here, because if we can't have any sort of high-level provincial or championship games at that venue, we're losing out. Is there a sense of urgency in finding a solution to this?
The solution is money, and the answer is yes. But I mean, that's why we are putting a priority on it. And Parks and Rec are working at this very time trying to come up with a strategy they can bring to council and say, look, here's the best plan we can come up with, and can we get your assent on it, and let's move ahead. We know it needs some work on it. There's no question about that. But there are other opportunities that we're looking at, and certainly Rotary Bowl is one, and the school board and the city are in discussions about that. That might be something the city will look at in time. Where do you want to place the money? We have a finite amount of tax dollars to spend. I don't think we're going to be in a position to financially buy another piece of land, the Rotary Bowl, and also make a huge contribution to the Caledonia Park. So it all needs to be done. It's just a matter of time and money.
Okay, thank you. You're watching the conversation with Nanaimo Mayor John Ruttan, a recap of the most recent City Council meeting that took place on Monday the 9th. And watch Shaw TV in the coming weeks. Todd Jones is working on a full feature story about Caledonia Park and what that means to the Vancouver Island Raiders and football in Nanaimo. We'll be back with more after a short break. Still to come today on Go Island, a cobbler's story in Victoria, rapid fire with the Nanaimo Clippers, and a road trip to the trestles of Kelowna. That and more still to come today on Go. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. Just a little reminder that you can follow us on Twitter. The account is there on your screen right now, because I can't actually remember what our Twitter handle is. We also have a Facebook page, Shaw TV_CVI. We have a YouTube channel as well, and you can catch past episodes of Go Island and the individual features at Nanaimo TV on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching and for following and liking us on those social media outlets. The BC Summer Games came up for discussion on Nanaimo City Council agenda on Monday, September the 9th. They are coming to Nanaimo July of next year. The BC Summer Games will be taking place here in the Harbour City. The last time we hosted was back in 2002. You've heard the phrase, everybody has a story, and most of the time we probably underestimate the experience that somebody has had as we go about our everyday lives. Paul Beilstein introduces us now to a cobbler in Victoria with quite a story. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We're continuing our conversation with Nanaimo Mayor John Ruttan in follow-up of Monday night's City Council. On the agenda, as seems to be a regular thing these days, is the colliery dams. And the last time we spoke, John, safety was the most important thing, and there was no other consideration besides keeping the citizens safe. What's changed, or has it?
Well, safety hasn't changed. Obviously, our concern for the safety of the public is still there. It's as strong as ever. What did change is that we just were not able to effect any repairs on the dams over the summer period. The time frame that we had to work with was very narrow. The fisheries window was July the 15th to September 15th, and partway through it, a lot of the people in the community felt strongly that they wanted us to re-look at the figures. Chief White from Nanaimo First Nations came before council and asked for a 30-day period. It was granted, and we did revisit a lot of the work that had been done. And in doing so, unfortunately, it really denied us the chance to do the dam repair work that was necessary. So now we're in a position where we want to put together a short-term mitigation plan to warn people, certainly those in the floodplain, obviously, of an impending disaster should it start to occur.
Now, there has been a lot of talk, and it's not a conversation to have with the city in regards to the school district moving more students. That is a conversation to have with School District 68, and perhaps we'll do that here on Shaw in future editions. But keeping the people who are there safe, how do you do that?
Well, there's several different ways we can do it, and obviously early warning devices of some type, and that would be a siren, or sirens plural, that we would be installing. And possibly the electronic phone activation, where phones within a certain defined area, which would be the floodplain basically, could be alerted by a single call, and all the phones would ring and notify people that there's an imminent disaster, and whether it's from inundation, from flooding, or whether it's a seismic issue, we're going to do all we can to notify everyone. And I think this mitigation plan addresses most of the issues.
Is a lot of that infrastructure in place already, or is this having to be developed specifically for this situation?
Well, it's a little of both, actually. We have always had an emergency awareness group set up, and it can be activated in minutes, really. This particular issue is a little bit different in that it's very specific in what they have to do. It's not any emergency that may occur, it's specifically failure of the dam. So they'll focus on that issue primarily and put as many warning devices as is necessary around the dams to alert the people as early as we can.
I think what it would come down to, no matter what the bells are and what the warning systems are, the reality is you could have 10 seconds to get out, and that really isn't going to do much good for a lot of people. It depends on, it's trying to predict the future, really.
But a warning is a warning, and all we can do is prepare for it, put the proper equipment in place to warn them of the impending accident, and hope that we can get the work done. And then next year, we'll look at a plan to do more remediation on the dams themselves.
Excellent. And there is a difference here between seismic breakage of the dam and just an overflow of water because of heavy rains. And we can predict away, but don't know what's going to happen until the future is upon us. We're going to throw things over now to Dan Marshall, a new series that we're starting here every week in the 25 weeks of hockey season. We're rapid firing, as we call it, with the Nanaimo Clippers' Mason Mitchell. He's a forward, a second-year player. Here's Dan Marshall. That is the first of 25 installments of Rapid Fire hosted by Dan Marshall that you will see here on Shaw TV for the entire Clippers season. Their first home game is on Friday, September the 20th, and Go Island will be there because, as we know here in Nanaimo, a Clippers game is much more than a game. It's an entire event. Here now is your Get Up and Go community calendar. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4 in conversation with Nanaimo Mayor, something that happens following every full council meeting here in the Harbour City. Some congratulations are in order. The Institute of Public Administration of Canada awarded the City of Nanaimo with
the bronze medallion, the bronze award. And basically it was for the social media, what we had done by putting together an eTown hall meeting in Nanaimo. And it was very successful. It was a very low budget thing we did. And we were extremely pleased to be recognized by IPAC. And the presentation was made in Montreal. And we were one of only 4 cities in the history of this presentation to be awarded anything on it. It's gold, silver, and bronze, obviously. And it was just really incredible. There was 500 to 700 people there in attendance. It was really an exciting win. And when you go up against mostly provincial governments, federal governments, crown corporations who have really large budgets, our contribution was very low, but it was obviously right on the mark, and we got the recognition.
Excellent, very effective. And if you recall, that was an opportunity for the citizens of Nanaimo to pose questions to staff and or City Council via Twitter and Facebook. Are there plans then for another one in the future, building on that success?
Well, there will be, and of course, remember also we had television coverage as well, which was a focus of the first one. But we're looking at possibly changing it. I know a lot of times when you get into these different programs, you can't always leave them the same, and we're going to see if there's some other changes that can be made, maybe to more involve the social media than we did previously. But you know, I mean, we did win an award. It was well received, so we would want to tweak it, but tweak it very carefully, so the overall concept isn't lost.
Thank you. And congratulations to the City of Nanaimo winning an award for the eTown Hall meeting held a few months back. We're going to continue on with our road trip series. We're heading to a trestle, touring it by pedicab near Kelowna. That brings us to the end of this edition of Go Island. We have a conversation with Nanaimo Mayor John Ruttan on the Tuesday following every regular City Council meeting here in the Harbour City. If you'd like Go Island to come and spend some time with you at your event or venue or location or kind of crazy wacky thing that you think the community might be interested in, give us lots of notice. We're getting a little bit popular here on Shaw TV, and actually the entire month of September is almost booked. There's one day left. We're booking into October, so don't wait. kate.bergen@sjrb.ca, and the only thing that we can say is thank you for watching Go. We'll see you next time.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network. Clothing supplied by Catwalk Fashions. Kate's Hair and Aesthetics provided by Maffeo Salon.